a dodging game, as well as you know, being able to hit him on a rapid basis in order to lower his health quickly. This actually is pretty tough because you have to be very consistent on actually hitting him. The good thing, of course, is if you actually only get hit, you will end up losing your ability of the Star Rod. So there we go, he's taken care of. He flies off, we grab a Warp Star, and now we're off to the moon, it looks like, for our final showdown with the Nightmare boss. So here we go, we're going to crash land the Warp Star, as you can see the sphere in the background. And as we are getting ready to crash land, you can actually see him materialize. After he hits us with a star, we land in the ground, our Warp Star disappears. There we go. And now it's time for the final showdown with the Nightmare boss. Now the only way you can hit the Nightmare boss is with the Star Rod, and he opens up and you can see like the censored area. It looks kind of like a staticky area beneath his cape, and that's of course his weak spot. And that's what we're going to end up hitting in order to do damage to him. Now, if you jump into him just doing the spin motion of the Star Rod, you actually do end up hitting him. But it doesn't do as much damage as actually hitting him with one of the star projectiles. So to defeat him quickly, the best thing to do is, of course, hit him with the actual star projectiles. Once you fight him, of course, once or twice, you've learned his pattern. He basically has 4 or 5 different moves. And all but pretty much one of them exposes the static area in one way or another, so that you can get behind him in certain parts if you need to and whatever, in order to hit him. And he's now taken care of. He's going to scream in agony, and he will slowly dissipate into static nothingness, which we have now saved Dreamland. As you will see now, all of a sudden a big chunk of the moon will now be destroyed for some reason. I guess the massive battle has done so much damage to the moon with the massive power level going on there from Kirby and the Nightmare. Causes the moon to turn into a broken piece of its own old self. And now Kirby will slowly fall back down to Dreamland, as the storyline is explained in the bottom there. And basically explains that Nightmare was inside the Dream Spring, and after Kirby put the Dream Rod back in, the Star Rod back in, that's what was able to unleash him. Because DDD actually had stuffed him inside of the Dream Fountain, and so that's why DDD had the Star Rod and why he separated it. But Kirby thought that that was a bad thing, so he gathered the Star Rod, put it back together, put it in the fountain, and thus unleashed Nightmare. So even though DDD officially was the bad guy, we thought, he actually ends up being the good guy in this game. He actually really was trying to do the right thing in preventing Nightmare from being unleashed. But Kirby is, I guess, forgiveful of DDD, and I guess DDD is forgiveful of Kirby, as I guess they are kind of together again, or friends at least for a little bit. Kirby rightfully now places the Star Rod back in the Dream Fountain. And by doing so, now we will go to the ending credits. After stars will slowly fall, Kirby waves bye-bye or hello or whatever you want to call it to the stars. He flies off, and now we get the chance to see the ending credits, which the ending credits are at the bottom, but we also get to see a montage of all the different boss battles that took place during the course of the game and different abilities that the creators of the game decided to use against the bosses. For example, Wispy Woods being attacked by the throw ability. And now we get to see Kirby fight Paint Roller, but using the stone ability, which is kind of an interesting choice in order to take out Paint Roller. Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright using the Flame Fireball ability in order to take them out, which would be it's a pretty useful strategy against them. Of course, Kracko is up next, and they decide to go ahead and use the Tornado ability, which is another good ability to use against Kracko instead of the high jump. But since basically they give you the high jump in Kracko's boss battle, and, it's pretty good to use that, and take out the Digger Mole, using the Parasol to take him out. And you can see that, and more credits at the bottom. Here's the battle, of course, with Meta Knight, which, of course, the only ability we could use against him is the sword. There was no other ability to choose, so of course the creators used that as well in order to take out Meta Knight. You get to see a little bit more of that duel. And now a battle with DDD, and they decide to use the high jump ability against DDD. which actually, as you can see with DDD's abilities and all his movements and such, it actually is a pretty useful weapon against him. But now we get to the end, we see the end in the background, we see the star rod in the Fountain of Dreams, and that's going to go ahead and wrap up this edition of Play It Through. I would like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.